Lego channel. Alright, you guys, today I'm doing a season 15 recap on Supernatural, well, at least the last 7 episodes. To see the 1 through 13, definitely go check out this video up here, that'll be up here, and then after that come back here and watch the recap, because I posted that one before the last 7 episodes even began to air, so you guys can kind of catch up and remember some details, because it's been a while since we got into season 15. So I'm going to do that for about half of this video, and then the other half I'm going to talk about my predictions for the series finale, so I can have it on record when I'm right. Also, my guest star will be Dobie. This is my dog, but because of how this video will be angled, you probably won't see him, but you see how he likes his pillows? Alright, let's get to it. Can we just quickly talk about how he's taking up most of the bed and I'm secluded to this corner, but okay. Alright, you guys, so let's start with episode 14, which is, I believe, where we left off at this point. So, episode 14, so another thing to take note is that Supernatural writers, when the pandemic happened and everything going on, I think that they decided to make this series a little bit lighthearted, which I will get into the second half of this video. Okay. So season 15, episode 14, we just pretty much get a cute episode. Sam ends up holding Thor's hammer. Don't believe me, just watch. It's really, you don't need to watch this episode at all. So you can just pretty much skip this episode if you're just lacking on time. Oh, so episodes that you should watch for season 15, in case maybe you do happen to have the time and I post this in time, you need to watch episodes 1, episodes 2, episodes 11, episodes 12, episodes 18, episodes 19, and of course the series finale, which is going to be a 2-hour special. So yeah, so it's a total of 7 episodes, just because there's a lot of details that go into it, and even though I'm pretty sure by the time of the series finale, I can pretty much cut some of these episodes. But for right now, just to see what exactly you need, those are the episodes that we need to do. So episode 15, pretty much Jack reveals the truth to Cass at this point. He tells him, Billy only brought me back because I'm part of her master plan. I'm pretty much gonna die by completing these tasks, because Billy has been sending him on these tasks. Another task that he has to... we already got the occultum. That already happened. And, of course, Cass has a strong, Cass sees Jack as his son. So he's like, I'm not gonna let this happen. He also ends up telling Dean, and telling him what's going on with everything. And so meanwhile, while Jack's kind of revealing this to Cass, they kind of went on his own little mission. And then at the same time, Sam and Dean went out looking for Amara, because they're like, well, we can use Amara to try and trap God and use Jack to kill God. And then eventually they also figured out that they're going to also have to kill Amara as well. So it's pretty much a huge trap they're trying to set up. But of course, when they go, Amara's like, I'm not going to betray my brother. He's my brother. No matter what, he's my brother. And then at this point, Dean has also confronted her and was like, yo, so after everything, why did you bring back my mom? She was like, because you kept fantasizing about your mom, you kept glorifying her, and so I want to show you reality. Which, in my opinion, is just a way for the Supernatural writers to rectify Mary, why they wrote Mary in the way they did, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, so Cass ends up telling Dean this, and Dean doesn't really do anything once Cass tells Dean about, Jack dying. So that's where we leave off. So then the next episode... Sam and Dean go to a friend's funeral, but they end up going through this hunt. Jack kind of stays behind. Anyways, by the end of the episode, during the episode, this is the funniest thing, because it was the best line in the whole world. Billy's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you just doing a basic hunt when the world is literally ending? She also tells him that God has now killed all the universes now, so only their universe exists because God created multiple universes, that's again in another video, and that he shouldn't be doing this, but Dean is just frozen. Anyways, he ends up by the end of the episode telling Sam that, Jack will die after this. And then, Sam's like, why didn't you tell me? But thankfully, for once in his life, Sam doesn't run away the punk that he is. So I actually weirdly like Sam in this season, and someone pointed it out. It's because he hasn't had a lot of lines, and I'm just like, that's brilliant. I'm like, of course that's why I like you. Okay, that makes perfect sense now. Alright, so then episode 17. So now this is episode 17 through 19. We start getting the ball moving. It's just really a lot of things kind of happen right here. So Sam and Cass right now, they're trying to work together to try and stop Jack from pretty much killing him. So they're like, we gotta find another way to kill God. And so they finally realize one of the ways they can do it is looking at God's book. So everybody has a book. So remember we saw Dean, and they're like, well, there was multiple ways that Dean could have died, and then it ended up shrinking or something of the sort. And so like God has his own death book, and Death is the only one who can read the death book. So Sam and Kaz are trying to get their hands on it. Sam ends up getting his hands on it, while also trying to stop it. And then at this point, like, but Dean, in the meantime, has been, like, preparing Jack to do the final trial, which is getting, like, a bone from Adam. And we actually meet Adam, and he's actually, like, really chill, like, hippie chill type of chill. And it's so funny. Because I'm assuming Eve is, like, the same Eve. Like, the Eve we met in Purgatory is the same Eve from, like, like, Adam and Eve. So it's so weird that at some point they were a couple. I don't know. I just find it funny. Now he's like dating some other chick, which has nothing to do with the plot. It's just I found it interesting. Like that could be a spin-off on it. So like, anyways, and so also they end up talking to Amara. Amara decides to join them. She's like, you know what, you're right. Like my brother is like creating this whole chaos. He's destroying too many universes. Too many people are like, in fact, I'm gonna join you. But then God ends up like talking to her. He's like, dude, you know this is a trap, right? The only way that they're gonna be able to do this is by killing me, and thus killing you. So then, of course, Amara believes God and ends up allowing God to absorb her, making God even more powerful. So then, Dean comes in right on time with Jack, and then Sam's like, I have Death's book. And he's like, no, he needs to do this. Dean pulls up a gun to Sam, and then, which is like, also before, like, he absorbs Amara, he's like, right now, like, Dean has like pulled up again a gun against Sam, and this is the ending that I really wanted. And then, but of course, Dean loves Sam too much to allow this to happen, so he ends up not killing Sam. And Jack pretty much did all the trials for no reason, but he's still gonna explode. He's still a ticking time bomb. Like he can't do anything. God is now beyond pissed. Now he's like, well, you know what? That they didn't do his ending, but I'm like, you were already pissed. Like I don't understand how you could be like. He's like, before he was like, if you guys don't do my ending, I will destroy the universes. And then he pretty much once again gave the same threat, which he ends up destroying everybody at this point. Anyway, so then like Billy, so the reason why they also wanted to stop Jack from exploding was because they realized that Billy wants to be God. Anyway, so when Jack's about to be a ticking time bomb, they're like, help us, we'll do whatever you want. And then she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna put him in the empty and let him explode there, essentially. But he's still like, I guess, so he would still technically be trapped there, but then that would piss off the empty, and then the empty would not be happy with Death. Also, I forgot to mention that Sam kind of like talked to the empty and was like, yo, Death is just trying to trick you. Death just wants to be God. Like, it's just a lot of things going on. Anyways, I don't really touch a lot about like Death wanting to be God so much because in the next episode 18, she dies. So like, anyways, they end up like trying to negotiate with her. So because right now Sam has God's death book, and then that's like, Billy, I will give you guys Jack back if you guys give me the book. Anyways, they kind of negotiate that, but then like Dean ends up like with her own, I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna put a picture of like stabbing her with that, and then like thus hurting her, thus essentially mortally wounding her. Is that how you say it? Anyways. And then so now that Billy's like beyond pissed. She wants to take Dean with her. Also they start noticing that a lot of their friends are disappearing. So remember, Alt Universe Charlie, Alt Universe Bobby, and even like Sam's girlfriend Eileen. Like, so they're trying to just like save them. So like they notice that they're gonna be disappearing soon. So they we have to get them all together in 1-to-1 point, and then like hopefully Billy can get to them. But then Billy's like, I'm not doing this, God is doing this, God is killing everybody. And so essentially his master plan is to leave all of you guys behind. And so it's like, but before I die, I want to take Dean with me. Like I want to kill Dean. And so she's like, has his heart. And then at this moment, the only person that can stop Billy at this moment, besides her little like sword thing, would be before killing Dean, would be the empty. So the empty is not allowed to be on Earth unless someone summons the empty. Now here's where season 14, what's the episode? Anyways, it's like episode 12, like Jack in a Box. It's called Jack in a Box. I'll put the episode number and title here. Jack in a Box were like, and they even show this in the promo also. I'll get to that later. They showed this in the promo, and they're like, well, Cass made a deal with her like about a season ago, like, if I'm ever really truly happy, that's when you can take me away. Cass at that moment makes this whole speech, which I'm quite frankly, I'm still kind of confused about, where he's just like, I am never gonna be happy but I know what happiness is. And he's pretty much at this point where he kind of confesses his undying love to Dean. Again, stick around for the other half of this video while I'll go more into details about that. And Cass dies. He sacrifices himself, bringing the Empty. The Empty comes, takes Cass, at the same time taking Billy because she's pissed at Billy, and ends up taking Billy with her. And so now Cass is dead, and then Dean is just left like, you just essentially, I guess, said your dying words to me, as well as confessing your undying life for me. So that's pretty much it. And then we get episode 19. So then, of course, Dean reunites with Sam and Jack. They're the only people on Earth. Like, honestly, they're the only things on Earth. There's no more bugs, squirrels, nothing. And he tells Sam and Jack, and it was so hard to see that. And then they're just like, they have no idea what to do. They're like, we have no game plan. There is no master plan. There's nothing we can do. We can't even read God's death book, because the only person who could read God's death book is God herself, and she's gone. So they're just hanging out. They end up finding a dog that are like lying around, and they're like, oh my gosh, so there is one thing that Chuck hasn't taken, but then and Chuck ends up taking that as well, and you're just like, oh wow, you're really leaving there with no hope. Anyways, they end up finding out that Michael's actually still alive. Not Adam, the one he was possessed by, not Adam, just Michael. And then Michael's like really pissed at God. He's like, he's destroyed so many universes, he's done this, like I can't believe it. So he's like, I'm gonna help you guys out. So they're trying to figure out a plan to deal with Michael. Eventually, Lucifer ends up coming back for like a second, which is like completely random. Lucifer comes back, and she's just like, God brought me back because he wants me to get his death book, like take it away from you guys. And also what he ends up doing, he ends up getting a Reaper to open the death book, because on top of that, like the only person who can open that book and he read it is Death. So they ends up getting a Reaper so she can become the new Death. But then Lucifer ends up killing that Reaper, so now that the book's open, he's like, I can give it to God so he can read. Anyways, Michael ends up killing Lucifer, but he's still salty because God ended up picking Lucifer over him for like the umpteenth time. You know how Lucifer was always God's favorite child, so like Michael was like a little salty about that. So the guys like end up finding a spell to like destroy God or like manipulate God or something, and then Michael ends up betraying them, telling God about the spell. God ends up finding a way to like prevent it, but then they're like, yo, actually we knew Michael was going to betray us, so we tricked him into making him betray us because we knew he was salty. And I'm just like, okay, if I hadn't watched Supernatural for so long, I would have been very lost. And I was like, okay. And then so at the same time, like throughout the couple of episodes, we see Jack now that he's brought back with Billy, like absorbing things. Like he gets like this like tingly thing. Turns out he was absorbing all these energies. So they end up pissing God off, where like God is like beating up Sam and Dean, like fist fighting, which I found funny. And then he ends up absorbing all of that. Jack ends up absorbing all of God's powers, making Jack the new God. Anyway, so the way that they end up destroying God is not by actually killing him. Like, God's like, fine, then kill me. He's like, you know what? The Weirwood sniper is becoming like irrelevant, insignificant, so we're just gonna leave you alive and make you insignificant. And then Jack pretty much at that point is just like now like all knowing, and he acts holier than thou, like as soon as he absorbs God. And then like Sam and Dean, they're like, you know, it sucks, but you know, it's what it is. This is life. Like, let's go to the bunker. Let's go throw back a couple brewskis. And then this is what Jack says that gets to me, that I'm just like, oh God. He's just like, guys, I can't go back to the bunker because now I'm God. And I'm like, oh, but you know what? I'm gonna do something that this God didn't do and be not hands-on. And I'm like, dude, if you're not gonna be hands-on, why can't you just go back to the bunker and have a brewski with the boys? Like, how would that alter anything? They'd be the only ones who know that you're God. And you're God now, so you can technically make them immortal. You know, what are they doing except saving people? Like, I don't know. And so that's pretty much where we leave it. It's just Sam and Dean now. And then they do like this cute little montage. But then we still have like literally the whole time I was watching that episode, I was like, is this the finale? I think they say we had like, the finale's gonna be November 19th, because I literally had it like embedded in my brain. I knew that date. Like, I still know that date, November 19th. So anyways, that's pretty much the recap for the next 6 episodes. Again, I did this recap because someone requested it, so if there's any more content, leave a comment down below. Now I'm going to be talking about, guys, my predictions and a little bit of like where I think season 15 is going to go and whether or not I honestly think, is this a good ending. So first of all, I want to talk about season 5. If you guys remember the season 5 finale, like Dean ends up getting like his happily ever after almost, and like Sam jumps into like the depths of hell with like Lucifer and him, and just like do this really cute montage about the car. Cass dies, but then comes back to life, and then and then Dean ends up having like a normal life with Lisa. That was released season 5, and that was supposed to be the series finale. That was the original finale for this show. And all I kept saying, I was like, I'm not asking for this because I don't like where the show was going and how long it's been going and everything. I was like, I just don't see this show ending that beautifully. But all I'm asking is for you to try and get as close as possible. And I don't think that's happening, you guys. I really don't, because here's the thing. Now that we've gotten rid of Billy, she was going to be like the new god, and I thought, oh, you're going to be the ultimate villain. Okay, that's kind of cool because I did like Billy. But no, she's not going to be there. God is now essentially powerless. And even the actor who played him, he's like, oh, it was so nice. This is the end of May. And I'm like, so that means you're not coming back. Or like, if you're coming back for the series finale, you're not going to be a significant player, I am assuming. So the only thing left, like I'm honestly saying, the only thing left that's going to play any significant role would be the nothing, the empty. That's like the only like enemy that they could have. And like essentially like the empty could pretty much just be pissed enough about everything that she's going to want to destroy everything. Oh, I forgot to, which I'm just like, really? That's how you guys are going to end this story? And then I'm pretty sure they're going to pretty much bring back everybody and have everybody, like, pretty much pull in Avengers. That's pretty much because, like, literally they had so many people guest starring. Also, here's another prediction that I'm actually really happy about. Mark Sheppard / Crowley / the King of Hell might be coming back for Supernatural because he did this thing talking about why he calls Sam Moose. Like, how that sort of started, like, how they get from Moose to Squirrel. And it seems very recent, like they just recently recorded this. And I'm like, why would Mark Sheppard out of the blue do this? And you also tweeted it. So one of my predictions is that Mark Sheppard will be coming back, and that might raise this series finale just a little bit. Another thing is I predicted Cass's death. Like granted, it wasn't the most like, oh my goodness, like ridiculous prediction out there, because like literally they tell us this. And then like another thing was like the worst part. This is another thing that I think the Supernatural people just kind of screwed up on. It was kind of funny. Was literally before the show aired and before we saw like that beginning clip of where it's like, I'm going to they put like Cass Forever like as a hashtag. They created that. Like you could literally you put a hashtag and you put in Supernatural and like Cass Forever was right under it. And I'm just like, wait a minute, are you guys killing Cass in this episode? Is this what we're doing now? So one thing that I do think that there is probably a possibility that Misha Collins would be coming back at the series finale, because I mean, do you guys really think that that's how they would kill Cass? Like, I can't believe that, to be honest with you. I honestly don't think that's the end of Cass. But here's the thing, if they do bring Cass back, I don't know what that means. Because, let's just talk, this is a conversation that's really weird, and again, you don't have to agree with me. Dean's sexuality, he likes women. He's straight. And even though Cass is kind of like this entity that essentially can be a woman, like in one time, like they did like a flashback where like Cass possesses like a woman. So angels can be non-binary essentially. What that means, so there's two options. One, Cass comes back as a woman, and I'm like, you're gonna get rid of Misha Collins like that? Like, you can't do that to us. You can't do that to us, okay? Don't get rid of his trench coat. You can't get rid of Misha Collins. But then if Misha Collins does come back as Misha Collins, what does that mean for Castiel? Because the thing is, why I'm getting into like gender stereotypes and norms or whatever, I'm just getting into it because I don't want Cass to get heartbroken, because I don't think that Dean would be happy with a man. That's the only thing, I mean, as so much fun as I love thinking about Destiel, and like all the time, like, oh, Destiel. The reality of it, like in the show itself, I'm like, I don't know how that would work. Which is why I'm like, was that really like a love confession, or was that more of like, you are my brother type of confession? And I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And do you guys think that like Destiel could actually work in this Supernatural universe? Like, I know like in fan fiction, it can definitely work. Like people are beautiful, but in this Supernatural universe, I don't know. That's like a whole other thing. And just don't break Castiel's heart. I'm like, you can't just kill him and then break his heart. Like, that's just horrible. Don't do that. Anyways, but I do think Crowley will come back. I do think they'll probably pull in Avengers, and I do think that the next like evil thing will be the Empty. And honestly, I don't know. And they already did. Also, I didn't like the montage that they did in that last episode. Like, because first of all, what was the point of that montage? And second of all, they haven't played "Carry On My Wayward Soul." Like, they haven't played that yet. They better play that on Thursday. Like, it better be somewhere. Either it's in the beginning of the episode or the end of the episode. Because if it's not, I will never let that go. Okay, I will not ever let that go. Alright, guys, so that's pretty much everything that I felt like I needed to rant about Supernatural. And honestly, on a scale of 1 to season 5 ending, which I think is a perfect, like, 100% great series finale, like, scale of 1 to, like, season 5, I honestly think that this is gonna land on a solid 5. Like, it's gonna be, like, in the middle, like, 1 to 10, it's gonna be a solid 5. It's not gonna be the best series finale. It's really not. I don't expect, because of just what they did. I think you know what they try to do, like, in these, like, last 7 episodes? They kept trying to, like, oh, we're gonna go, like, here, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go there, and they kept trying to zigzag, you know? And I'm, like, trying to confuse all of us. Like, just, like, they're never going to guess the series finale. Type of thing. I mean, hopefully, maybe they do something, like, really cool, but at the same time, I like that natural build-up in Supernatural. You know, each season you always knew who the villain was. You always knew kind of how things were gonna go. There were, like, small twists and turns, small little, like, oh, shocking things, you know, type of thing. Like, to make Purgatory the way they made Purgatory was really good. I mean, even though I kind of hated the Purgatory, I like what they did, but I hate what they did. Like, Purgatory is a little complicated for me. You know, sending Dean into hell and having him be tortured, that was amazing. So I think that's like my whole rant for Supernatural. Thank you for watching Resident Nerdy Girl channel. All right, you guys. Oh, also, here's my Twitter. I will be live tweeting the series finale. I've been live tweeting all the episodes. I will be live tweeting the series finale as well. So just like with my reactions and like, so join me. So here's my Twitter. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you for watching Resident Nerdy Girl channel. Bye.